started with the California gnatcatcher. The scientific name is Polyoptila californica, and the family is Old World warblers and gnatcatchers. It's 4.5 to 5 inches tall, very small, gray above, paler below. The male has a black crown during summer that extends below the eyes. It has a long black tail with little white on outermost feathers. The winter male, the female, and the juveniles are duller, similar to the black-tailed gnatcatcher, but the underparts are grayer and much less white in the tail, best identified by voice and range. The voice is similar to calls of the blue-gray gnatcatcher, not the black-tail, but more prolonged and cat-like. The habitat, it lives in deserts and arid country, dry washes in the low desert. The range is extreme southwestern California. This newly recognized species is similar to the black-tailed gnatcatcher, but the ranges of the two do not overlap. The coastal California gnatcatcher is the subspecies that lives in the United States. The other two subspecies live in Baja California and Mexico. The coastal California gnatcatcher, the subspecies of the California gnatcatcher that occurs in the United States, is on the U.S. endangered species list. It is classified as threatened in California. The nest has 3 or 4 pale blue spotted eggs in a small, smooth cup nest placed in a mesquite or other desert bush or low tree. Okay, next up is the snowshoe hare, and in the picture it's white, but it's only white in the wintertime. It's brown for the rest of the year. The scientific name is Lepus americanus. It's obviously in the hares and rabbits family. The alternate name is varying hare. In the summer it's dark brown with a small tail, dark above and dusky to white below. In the winter it is white, sometimes mottled with brown, with white hairs that remain dark at the base. Black-tipped, moderately long ears, large hind feet with soles well furred, especially in winter. This species stays brown all year in West Washington and Oregon. Some black hares in the Adirondack Mountains remain black all year. It's 15 to 20 inches in length, 1 to 2 1/4 inches tall. Wait, that can't be right. Anyway, it's 2 to 3 pounds in weight. The cottontails are smaller and do not turn white in winter. Most other hares are larger and occur in open habitats. The Arctic hare and white-tailed jackrabbit have all white tails. The antelope jackrabbit has white lower sides and lacks black on the ears. The European hare is larger with larger ears. In the snow, you can see the trails packed down as much as 1 foot deep. Its hindprints are 4 to 5 inches long, wider than those of other hares in snow, due to the snowshoe effect of widely spread toes. It lives in northern forests in Alaska and most of Canada, south to North California, northern New Mexico, North Minnesota, North Michigan, North New Jersey, and southward through the Allegheny Mountains. It breeds 2 or 3 litters per year, beginning in March, with an average of 3 young. One of the smallest and shyest of the hares, the snowshoe hare, rests by day in a form hollow log or woodchuck or mountain beaver burrow, though it may venture out in overcast weather. If disturbed, it may run in a circle covering several acres, traveling at speeds up to 30 miles an hour, with bounds to 12 feet, and usually passing close to its point of departure. It often tries to hide in brush like a cottontail instead of running into the open like a good swimmer, it avoids water. It frequently bathes in dust and often uses the dusting wallows of a grouse. In summer, the snowshoe hare feeds on grasses, green vegetation, willow, and berries when available. In winter, it resorts to conifer buds and the bark of aspen, alder, and willow. It will also eat carrion, and some individuals become nuisances to trappers by stealing bait. The seasonal molt, when the color of the snowshoe hare changes, is a photoperiodic phenomenon governed by lengthening or shortening periods of daylight. As daylight diminishes in autumn, the hare begins to grow a white-tipped winter coat that at first is patchy. By the time daylight is at the minimum and large expanses of ground are blanketed with snow, the hare has turned white to match. As the days lengthen in spring, the winter coat is gradually shed and replaced with brown. But when snow comes unusually late in fall or lasts unusually long in spring, the hare will have molted nonetheless. At such times it is conspicuous to predators and becomes less active than usual, seeking cover. Young snowshoe hares can run within hours of birth, but may nurse for almost a month. Northern populations of snowshoe hares seem to be very cyclic, undergoing major highs and lows at fairly regular intervals. Snowshoe hares become exceedingly plentiful every 9 or 10 years, then swiftly plummet in number. The causes of these population fluctuations are not fully understood, though many explanations have been proposed. The fluctuations appear to be related to the crowding that exists at higher population densities. One likely explanation is that crowding initiates a stress syndrome believed to retard the reproduction process and cause a dramatic decline in population. The snowshoe hare's predators include weasels, foxes, minks, owls, hawks, wolverines, bobcats, and especially lynx, which in Canada depend on these hares, south heavily as a food supply that their population levels parallel the hares, following them by 1 year. Okay, next is the Klamath plum. Scientific name Prunus subcordata. It's in the rose family. The alternate name is the Sierra plum. It's a thicket-forming shrub or small tree with a short trunk, stiff, crooked, nearly horizontal branches, and reddish-purple plums. It reaches up to 20 feet in height and 8 inches in diameter. The leaves are 1 to 2.5 inches long, half to 1 3/4 inches wide, elliptical to rounded. The tip is blunt or rounded. Base is blunt to notched, sharply saw-toothed, becoming nearly hairless, slightly thickened, prominent side veins, dark green above, pale beneath, turning red to yellow in autumn. The bark is gray-brown, furrowed into long, scaly plates. The twigs are bright red, short, often ending in spines. The flowers are 5 to 8 inches wide, with 5 rounded white petals turning pink, 2 to 4 on slender, equal stalks in early spring before the leaves. The fruit is 5/8 of an inch to 1 inch in diameter, a rounded plum, reddish purple, or sometimes yellow, with sour edible pulp and slightly flattened smooth stone. Maturing in late summer. It lives in dry, rocky slopes in moist valleys. It can be found in western and southern Oregon, south to central California in coast ranges, and Sierra Nevada up to 6,000 feet. This is the only wild plum in the Pacific states and is easily identified when in fruit. The fruit, often borne in quantities, is eaten fresh or dried and in preserves and jellies. Sheep and deer browse the foliage. Caution, poisonous parts. While some parts parts of this species are edible, other parts are toxic to humans. Eat only if you are absolutely sure which parts are edible. So, there's your warning. Okay, next is the long-tailed wild ginger. Scientific name Asarum codatum. It's in the birthwort family. Includes one peculiar brown purplish to yellowish or greenish flower hidden by heart-shaped leaves growing in pairs from dense patches of trailing rooting stems. It's 3/4 to 4 inches long. The leaf stalks are 6 inches tall. Excuse me. You can find it in moist shaded woods below 5,000 feet. Ranges from British Columbia and western Montana to northeastern Oregon, south on the western side of the Cascade Mountains, and the Sierra Nevada to near the coast of central California. The flowers are not easily visible as they rest on the ground under the leaves. The aromatic stems and roots were used by early settlers as a substitute for tropical ginger, to which it is not closely related. There are 3 other western species. Lemon's wild ginger, found in southern Sierra Nevada and northwestern California, has uniformly green leaves. In this respect, it is similar to this species, but its calyx lobes are only H9 long or less. I don't know what that means. The other 2 species both have leaves mottled with white along the major veins. Hartwig's wild ginger, found in southwestern Oregon, northern California, and southward along the Sierra Nevada, has a calyx tube that is white on the inner surface, with several red stripes covered by bands of white hairs. Marbled wild ginger has a dark maroon calyx tube with scattered dark hairs. It occurs in southwestern Oregon and northwestern California. It flowers from April to July, 1.5 inch to 5 inches wide, 1 inch